I use the quote, you're always one decision away from a total different life.
So I'm sitting here with Olympian and IFBB pro women's bodybuilder Theresa Ivancik. This is my sixth installment of Herstory. I am Danielle Willis, and I'm so excited to be sitting here with you today. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, and thank you for having me. I'm excited to be on your show.
Yes, I'm very excited to have you on my show. I just want to say first and foremost, you crushed Toronto's performance. I covered that live, and as a fan of the sport first, right? To me, an effective way to show up on a stage is not just the package that you bring, but it's how you present it.
Hmm.
And I like the fact that not only when you were competing did you present your package in a very efficient manner, but when you did your personal posing routine, from the choreo, the style, I love the transitions. I love a good transition and how you flowed with it. It was like a lyrical contemporary kind of vibe.
Hmm.
And I really, really enjoyed it. And to me, I want to see more of that, whether, of from us, I'm not saying everybody
Hmm.
has to be on the same level, but to me, it's just, that's what makes it more exciting to really see the hard work when it showed off in creative and fun ways. So that I wanted to just off the bat just say phenomenal routine.
Thank you.
You every time you step on stage though, I feel like you live up to that best poser mantra. And I don't just say that very often because I am a dancer. So I don't just
Thank
throw
you.
those out. I don't. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I
I
do.
do.
I mean, I do need to give a bunch of credit to Jen Underwood. She worked with me for my first Olympia routine. And then due to the documentary, we needed a closer home film. So I did work with Lindsay Viatori, who is a professional dancer, a teacher at SRU, has been floating around between New York City and Pittsburgh. So she had a very different style of that, contemporary. So I've been watching a lot of movies, with dance, and it has such where they move from ballet to hip hop. And that to me, like, that motivated me more because you can see how the two can intermix. So there's no reason why we can't intermix on stage, and we're putting on a show. Like, that's what this is about. We're putting on a show. We're not just up there to do our seven mandatories or our five mandatories. This is a show. Like, you are on Broadway. Like, you're showcasing your physique the best way you possibly can. So that I have to give a lot of credit to her. We put that together in 2 hours.
I think to me, those are sometimes the best pieces, right? Where you just crank it out. It's just off
Hmm.
the top. You're feeling it, and it just flows.
Because as an athlete we have so much to do in a day
Mhm.
between stretching and cardio and then the gym and then posing and then a routine. Like, it's like, where and how do you fit this in,
Mhm.
and schedule it. But it is a very, to me, a very important part because we that's how we showcase ourselves, and
Right.
it's an illusion. So if you are posing one way, and you usually have like a some type of base mandatory of like how you're supposed to do, let's say, a side chest. If that doesn't work for you, you tweak so it makes you look better. So you're doing the roundabout same thing, but there's always something little that you could do to make your physique pop.
Aside from your routine, I do want you to kind of walk me through a little bit um, Toronto Pro and what went into this year, how you approached this year, coming off of your Olympia, and give me a little update since then.
Yeah, so for the Toronto, it was like kind of like a last minute decision, really, because we did just get out of the Olympia. I had a really long prep the previous year, went in Indy early in 2022. I think that was May. I mean, I was still, you still had to do your work because then you still had the Olympia, and then it was like, oh God, do we go right back in again or do we do an off season? I should have never lost. I know what I did wrong. It's eating at me. Don't get me wrong. Because I came off of winning three pro shows back to back, so this one is hurting really, really bad. And it's true. I'm a pro athlete, and we are a competitor, but we can't win every show, So, but it was, if it wasn't over the dumbest mistake, I don't think I'd take it as hard. But it was something that I could have controlled, and I didn't. I just kind of follow suit, follow protocol. But coach knows we addressed it, and we moved forward. But was this the best package? I don't think so. I still, I think, and for even myself, I talked to my fiance about it. In 17 years, I have not brought what Theresa Ivancik can bring to the stage. It's always been that peak week, oopsie, mess up. And there's things that we have addressed, like I mentioned, and things that are going to change. And I feel, in my opinion, I'm a coach. If I look good 1 to 2 weeks out, I am running that bitch the whole way home, and no one's touching my water. No one's touching anything. I said, it's how I'm going to look in the gym is how I'm going to look on stage. And that's it. I'm not doing any more tweaks. My body is very sensitive to that. We've realized that. And it's just what we have to do in order to come in. If you can look like that in the gym, why are we looking really soft on stage? If you know your body, stick to it and stick to your guns. And if your coach wants to fight you, then it's not a good match. If you have someone that's on your butt, that's supporting you, that's motivating, that's feeding you positive stuff, and not saying a bunch of negative stuff like do what I say, then they're going to do very well. Because you're keeping the nerves down, you're keeping the cortisol down, and you're making this fun for everybody. But you're still
Right.
getting the job done.
And that's key, right? Everybody, because
Mm-hmm.
not everyone is the same.
Nope.
So what
Nope.
works for you
Yes.
is not going to work for me or someone else. So that
Mm-hmm.
coach needs to be mindful of that as such and
Yep.
treat you, as you said, individually, connecting
Yep.
with you. How important do you think as a woman it is to advocate for yourself in this sport when it comes to your health and choosing who you decide to work with?
It's extremely important. It's 100% important, because if I would have taken any route any differently, I would have altered a lot of things about myself. And when we went into this sport, it was the fact that number one was femininity, and second was health. You're responsible for what you put in your mouth, so and how you want to go about this. So I feel that in any questionnaire, any coach would be interested in working together, that should come up. But I do think it's very important to represent the sport in female bodybuilding, because it did take a plunge, and then Jake Woods did bring it back. I did get a chance to go to the mansion with the girls whenever they were starting the Wings of Strength even more. But I've I'm scared, because there's shows missing. There's no more sponsorships. There's, things that are just disappearing again. And we're kind of going backwards. I'm sticking to me, I can come to stage looking like this, like it or not, but there's other things outside of bodybuilding, that I can utilize my tools and, what I've built for myself, that I can take other avenues, but still do the sport. I'm always going to be in the sport, but it's the fact of like sticking to my guns, and this is the shape and the body that you're always going to get. Like no one is ever going to tell me that I got to change.
And that's very important advice and a key takeaway, because to me, I have these conversations with a lot of athletes and non-athletes about how I feel we're in a time where a lot of different demos and populations are being represented.
You can do this. You could model, you can, do photo shoots, you could do TV. I mean, there's so many different, ways that you could do it, but be unique and be you. There's no reason why you should try to go blueprint somebody else's Instagram profile. And I see it, time and time again. Like everybody is either mocking, or you see these fads and trends. Just like do you and show you. Like that's why I do a lot with the bike. Weddings, different things there is life outside of bodybuilding. We still get it done, but I'm not saturating my page with a bunch of gym feeds, all the time. Like when the time comes, I'll put it out there, but that's how I'm growing my audience. Like I'm getting outside of fitness. I'm bringing in other people that are like trying to understand my lifestyle, people that might not have ever been in fitness before. My audience is about, driving in. I'm still having the fitness people, but I have a lot of other side people too. So my army is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I can't thank all my fans enough.
That's amazing, because you know what? It's been a decade for you, over a
Yeah.
decade.
Yeah. Yeah.
That you've put in that time and you've built that platform, and it's good that you started one way and you saw the need and the opportunity to expand and to put yourself in different areas.
I'm a normal human being too,
Yeah.
so we do normal life things, that it's not just about, and I get some people are like live and breathe, the gym, you can't put anything else in your mouth. Your body still needs other things and other sources than just the same Tupperware food all the time. You got to take a deep breath and enjoy life a little bit, because there
Yes.
is other things outside of it. And I'm telling you what, 17 years, I don't regret anything, but it's passing me. It's going, like it's going quick, and we want to expand the gym. Like we're getting into guest speaking now. We're going to be doing that at an art center July 1st. We've guest speak at colleges about breaking the norms and being different, and following your particular passion, not what mom and dad want you to do. So it's like we've branched out and just trying to reach as many people as we possibly can.
What is one thing that you want people to get from that documentary beyond bodybuilding? Like, what is that one message that you want people to take away from it?
The main part, I think, like we're trying to get it to be like I Am Woman. It's showing the femininity side of it. When we were filming, it was like my nails were done, I had my ring on, my face is done, but we still train hard. We still have, the life. They were showing behind the scenes of like just like the makeup, the tanning, the hair, like everything that kind of like goes along with it. Because a lot of people, even like new people that are interested in the sport, don't understand the whole thing, and sometimes people don't care to explain it to them. And I think another thing that needs to be talked about, which we didn't kind of go in depth, but I'm going to see if it's something that we might be able to do, talk about the expenses. I want people to know up front what they're getting into, because it's very, 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 very expensive, and it's we pay to play, you know what I mean? It is a nonprofit organization. I disgustingly put about 17's worth of prep together at estimated over $200,000, in terms of what I've invested for competing as a professional bodybuilder so far. And that's not, obviously you don't make nothing, in the beginning, until you do get your pro card. So you're basically just money, 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 and then when you get to that level, the prize money is not even that high. It's very hard, it's not saying I'm not staying motivated, but I'm a business person and it's starting to get really hard watching money flush. But it's just becoming very, very an expensive sport. And that's where also I'm afraid that it may die, because this other generation has no desire to do anything like that.
There are a lot of opportunities away from the stage if we just know where to look, and if we position ourselves right, have a package that is marketable and presentable, and pleasing, whatever that is to you, right? And everybody's different, but if you don't just put yourself in a box where you can't get out of,
Yeah.
I always tell new competitors, when they say, how do you build your body? I say, I build it for me, because judges' opinions, they're there and you want to take them seriously. Don't get me wrong. But from one show to the next, you might get a different critique from the same person.
Very true. It's not always about the placing. You don't always got to win first. Sometimes the second place person is always more talked about, because it's what you do and the impact that you put, to the community, to the fitness industry. I don't know for certain when I'm going to retire. It's going to happen soon. Like I can't keep doing this. I'm 17 years in, 31 shows, my body's going to eventually like tap out, and I do want to focus on other avenues and things like you mentioned as well.
31 shows. What does that mean to you?
It's been a ride, and that's what I'm saying. I can't, and like I use the quote, you're always one decision away from a total different life, so you have to, I could walk out here after I'm done and I could choose to go right instead of left and get hit by a car. I mean, you just never know, tomorrow's never promised. So it's like living each day, like, it's your absolute last. Give everything that you bestly can, try not to be negative, every day, you want to wake up positive. My pap, before he passed, said every day that my feet hit the floor every morning, I know it's going to be a good day, and it's just like the little things like that in life. It's okay to take a break and breathe, it really is. If you got joints and things that are aching, you want to try to push the envelope, you're going to end up either injured or more unmotivated. And then instead of taking the 1 or 2 days you had off, then you're going to be like into weeks, into months, and then you're going to be in a hole. So it's just those little ones, they're okay to do.
These are the things that you learn as you go along. And I'm sure these weren't things that were at the forefront of your mind 31 shows ago. All about trial and error, and you finding out, okay, this served me, okay, this didn't serve me. You come to that realization of these are the practices and things that I need to have in place, and these are the things that I don't. Yes. Now, what would be one thing that you can say it's a non-negotiable that you've pretty much stuck to throughout your competitive tenure? anything.
Because of my past, like with the eating disorder and things like that,
Mhm.
we have to have one addiction, replaced with another.
Yes.
So my dedication and loyalty to this sport is probably the number one thing if I had to pick anything, because it's saved me in numerous, ways. I've had the eating disorder, I had a house arrest, I was on PFA, I lost my license for 7 years, I lost my job, I had to walk to work. So all those things, if they didn't happen, then I wouldn't be who I am today, but each one of those things also taught me and was setting me up for the bodybuilding lifestyle as well. The discipline, the structure, the day in, the day out of, what did I really want to find in myself? Like, and who did I want to become? Because I quit college. I didn't want to, I didn't want to go to college. I had no idea what I wanted to do. It was just, finding myself and then taking that addiction and pushing it into this, teaching me food is fuel. And then it was just like one step after another, after another, after another, and then you keep implying,
Yeah.
so it's definitely the dedication to the training, staying on track with your food, so those are all the big keys of why I would say that's where what I would pick.
And you just said finding yourself, which leads me to the next question. Who is Theresa Ivancik?
Somebody that was very lost and quiet and shy, uncertain, in a lot of trouble, to having nothing, but living in a parent's basement, and then I met Jeff and he had issues and was living at home as well. So it was taking two people and we couldn't offer anything to each other, but just ourselves and our dream. And brick by brick, we have laid our own foundation, our own platform. The gym's been open for almost 10 years. He got me my personal training job. He helped me with my pro card, and we own a gym. Those are my three dreams and three goals right out of the gate. Once I did kind of find fitness, and it's it's been a journey. I want people to be able to remember me for, the femininity, and a physique, my humbleness, my willingness to help people, because that's who I am. I don't try to be someone that I'm not on social media. I just I'm me, and someone else, asked me in a podcast, how did I build myself, my platform. It's just me. I'm just posting myself. I'm just sharing my journey with the world. If you want to follow, great. If you don't, you don't have to. And I want to be diverse. I want different things in my life. That's why I like to post different things. And if I can teach anybody anything, I try to be very informative through my post, to help, others, whether it's, eating disorder, abuse, this and that, I'm very open and I'm very honest and I'm willing to help pretty much anybody that needs help.
To me, the people in life that receive the most are the ones that give the most. If you're not
Hmm.
serving and you're not filling other people's cups up, I mean, again, sometimes at our own expense, but what are you doing? Life itself is about
Hmm.
serving one another, helping
Yes.
other people up.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so, what better way than to use a platform that can also help others better their lives, better their mental well being, physical well being, than
Hmm.
fitness and
Hmm.
utilizing that in the way that you have. So, have you found that you've come across more women that are fascinated with the bodybuilding, or do you find that you've more men? Everybody's different. I've talked to some that are like, oh, it's all men, and then there's some that have a mixture. I mean, what have you
I'm
found?
a mix. Yeah, I'm a mix. I have just a ton. I mean, some of the messages that come through, you guys are killing me because they make me cry. They're very just thanking me. I helped a kid that was suicidal, didn't even know it. But I did send him some photos, for free, and I would like to meet him in person, but it's the people that you touch without knowing that you're not touching them, and then you get these type of messages, whether you do Q&As or you get a private DM, and they hit hard because they're like, well, I had this happen, I saw you had this happen, and then it just trickles. So my thing is like with the social media, share,
Yeah,
because you're helping more people than you think you are, because they're behind the scenes, and when the right time comes out, they'll come and address, what you did, or they'll try to talk to you. Some people think that they're going to send you a DM and you're not going to respond. I try to respond to everybody I possibly can. There's nothing negative about fitness. There really isn't. Everybody's here working on their bodies, like just being themselves, being healthy, being fit, so we as a whole, that we're all this positive, tight niche, group, just doing our thing, at the end of the day, and there's nothing really negative you could ever really say about, fitness as a whole.
You hit another topic about pull out the best version of you in all of this. And that's what fitness allows you to do. And it also allows us to look our best at any age. And this is a big year for you, the big 4-0. So big plans this year. How are you feeling? I mean, 40 is the new 30, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I it's weird because it's, you look better now than you did, back when you were 20, which is crazy. It's even a thing. But my blueprint that I had laid out from like day one was to retire when I was 40. This year didn't go technically as planned. So I think I might have gotten, derailed with that a little bit. So we have some decisions to make. Like I told you earlier, time's flying, and it's like before you know it, it flashes right in front of your eyes, so, but it's like, yeah, we're going to hit the big 4-0 this year.
If you do it right, it ages you backwards. I think that I look.
It's the food. It's the food you eat, the nutrition that you're taking, your supplementations and things like that. Like that's because it's like you're almost like purifying. You know what I mean? You keep your skin hydrated and everything. Like you don't. I do. I look younger now than I did at 20. And it's weird. But and then sometimes you'll come across some people and you'll think the same thing. They might be in their 50s and they look like they're in their 30s or 40s. Muscle has no age. It really doesn't. It's just
better with
how
age.
you choose to feed it. Yeah. Yep.
Which means you could do this as long as you want, Theresa.
I know.
you can literally, and masters. So you can take time, keep building your businesses and your empire, and then pop back in when you're ready.
At the rate I'm going, my grandparents are in their 90s. I have a long ways to go. I'm not even halfway there yet.
She's like, you know what? This retirement thing, it's going to get pushed back further and further.
Got like 40 more years.
Yeah, there you go. So my last question, what's next for Theresa Ivancik?
So right now, I just answered a Q&A like yesterday. I'm in a 50-50 right now. So and that's one reason, hence I mentioned and I touched base on the mental 2 days that I had, because I'm torn between whether I want to compete. We have 2 more shows left. I have all my sponsors, suit, tan, hair, makeup, my food, all that stuff. Or, we were going to take the rest of the year off, and improve on areas that, we felt we needed to bring up a little bit more, and then hit a show earlier next year. So it's a big decision, like we talked about earlier, of what I want to do. Like, and it's where that mental health day came in, because it's like, I don't know. And it's spinning right now, because it's like, well, I could do this, but then I could do this. And then it's like, okay, what if you choose these shows and you don't win? How are you going to take it? There's a lot of mixed feelings right now. So I don't have an actual certainty answer. It's either we are going to truck through and finish the season and do one more, which is what I intended on doing. But it's like the more you get a taste of like life, I kind of want, like you talked about, just taking some time to just, I'm not saying I'm not going to work, because it's obviously an off season. It's just as important as the on season, but it would be just more of a like, take a breather. We just jumped out of one show to do another show. Can I come in and be better? Because my main thing was to Andrew is I want to shock the world. And he said, if you want to shock the world, we have to have an off season. It's just depending on how my body's going to readapt after these couple days, getting some actual sleep. And I'm going to do one full good week on the plan, do some reevaluation and see if my body can take it. And honestly, like the conversation we had before, if it's not ready, I'm out for the rest of the year. We'll take the off season and we'll come back next year stronger. There's always going to be a show. Like, everybody needs to remember that.
Well, I'm excited to see what you bring next. I've loved the packages that I've seen the last 2 years since I've really been following. And again, being able to see you up close. I mean, I think that you represent the division in the sport very well.
Being able to walk away, but have numerous stores to still open. And
Yes.
that's how you set yourself up, you know. And if you do know, like, the thing is, like, if you do know you're going to be done, start educating yourself and trying to find different avenues.
At the end of the day, again, you got to follow what makes you happy, stay true to
Yes.
you, and everything else will follow, whatever that
Yep.
is.
Yep. Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. That's what I said. We're on the same page.
Yes.
100%.
I think I'm going to close it there. So
Yes.
this has been an amazing chat with Theresa Ivancik for another installment of Herstory. I'm Danielle Willis, IFBB Pro. Until the next time.